Wake up, it's Friday. Somebody get emotionally excited.
I'm excited.
Are you? Yeah. David.
Grandpapa.
Wow. It is
Flaming Dragon Friday, baby. Let's
Wow.
David, you said you wanna drop some stats.
I want to drop some stats, and I have a relevant one today. Here's the first stat up. All right, Jared Goff is the first quarterback in NFL history to win a playoff game against a team he previously started a playoff game for.
How about that?
The stat of the day.
Okay.
Take
David
that
Cohn's
with you.
obscure but relevant stat of the day.
Thank you.
I like that. By the way, I started watching Reacher. I think it's good. Flaming Dragon over here doesn't think it's good.
Is that his honest opinion, or is he
No, I just think he can't get over the point. He can't get over the fact that oh boy was Thad Castle in Blue Mountain State.
No,
I can't get past it.
It's a
So
little
we
bit of
can't take it
that.
serious.
A little bit of that, and it's a little bit of this. The Reacher series is terrible.
It's on Prime, right?
Yeah, it's. I think the writing. I think the writing is just.
It's a little
absolutely
corny at times.
How far
It's
in are
awful.
you?
I'm a season deep. There's
Only
two
thing I know is
seasons.
that the new season.
I just got done my rookie year.
New season of True Detective just came out.
I heard
It's the
that's
one with the
garbage. I actually
You watch
think
it?
That's garbage.
No, I just heard it's terrible. I refuse. That first season of True Detective is the best season I've ever
Matthew
seen. in my life.
McConaughey's character in that first True Detective season is a top 5 all-time character.
For sure.
Like it really legitimately is. Speaking about top 5 all-time characters, Tim Brando's coming on.
Oh yeah, Timmer.
Tim Brando joins us to discuss Michigan's next move, Alabama's new coach, and some college hoops. Kayshon Boutte gets arrested over illegal gambling while at LSU, and we're going to break down the keys to victory for the NFL Conference Championship games this weekend. I'm Jay Crane, and welcome to a Flamin' Dragon Friday on Crane and Company. The Detroit Lions are this year's version of America's team. Whew. Yeah, that's right, I said it. And while we're on the subject of America's team, the Cowboys shouldn't own that moniker. In fact, it should be fluid. Why the Lions, you say? Well, for starters, they are underdogs who got it out the mud with a coach in Dan Campbell that pretty much everybody doubted when he took the job, and a team that hasn't done anything in the postseason in a long while until this year. Now, America's team should be an underdog. It shouldn't be the big dog. Hell, we're the greatest underdog and comeback story of all time. We were down 13 colonies to England and came back and got the dub. Shout out my guy, George Washington. Now, Detroit's a city that needed this badly, and they haven't been this excited since Eminem dropped his first LP. Now, this weekend, they will once again be underdogs as they go play an absolutely loaded San Francisco 49ers team. And I know the 49ers struggled against a hot Packers team last weekend. They were still able to get the dub. And to be frank, the only thing crappier than San Fran's performance last week was the sidewalks outside of the stadium when everyone was leaving. And they were still able, like I said, to find a way to win. It's versatility, bestility there is. Now, I don't expect another down performance from that group, especially since the weather should be much better for Brock Purdy and his carnival-sized hands. And I highly doubt the Lions secondary will be able to handle the 49ers skill position players as well as they did last week against the Buccaneers, who were still able to find some success late in that game. Thank goodness for that anytime touchdown bet for Mike Evans. Now, I hope I'm wrong. And personally, I am going to be rooting for the Detroit Lions, who are without a doubt the embodiment of what America's team should really be. Speaking about embodiment.
Yes.
He's got 9.5 feet of body. David Cohn.
Huge. I grew.
Former Michigan quarterback. My brother, y'all know what day it is. It's Friday.
Wow, you
He's
got
on my
it right.
right. Play it.
Tell him, son.
This is flaming vodka.
Tell him, son.
Ninja.
Don't use my Govy. All right? Don't use my Govy.
What's it at? Do we know what it's at?
1.5.
1.5.
1.5.
We have not gone over.
I'm pretty sure
threw a
last
perfect
week
game.
y'all threw a no-hitter.
It was a perfect game.
Perfect game.
It was a
Don't
perfect
hit.
game.
Yeah.
If you don't know, if you're just
There's
joining
some walks
us,
in there.
welcome to Crane and Company. Hit that subscribe button. Rumble, YouTube, Daily Wire, whatever. But I cannot say his government name. I have to refer to him as Flaming Dragon, or as we like to call him, Flaming.
No.
Or some have even said Flamer, but I'm not going to go
Really?
there.
Chad, I appreciate y'all agreeing with me that Reacher sucks. I appreciate it.
Really? Is that the poll today?
You know what
It's
that
like
means? That means one person said it.
Is that the
90
poll?
No, the poll today is what teams reached the Super Bowl.
That means one person said they didn't like it, and he's the whole
You know,
show.
you always got to be against me, David.
Well, look, we've heard the word collusion thrown around.
Really?
Insurrection thrown around. What's
Really?
going on over there with Flamey Dragon in the chat? To me,
Look, it's 1v2 every time I get on this show.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
That's fine.
That's a lie.
I'll Jon Snow this thing.
But-
okay, well then who else taking the Lions then? We're talking about the Lions. Are you taking
You're
the Lions?
taking the Lions.
I'm taking the Lions, and
I'm
the
not.
line
We're
went
taking
up,
the Lions?
fellas.
I'm not.
It's plus 270 now. The money line.
Why, so what do the Lions have to do, David, to be able to beat
It's quite simple. They need to score more points.
Win the game.
They have to score more
That
points.
analysis.
All right, that's great
That
analysis.
analysis.
Let's move
Love
on.
this Lions team, man. Jared Goff never hung his head when he got traded from the Rams. He came in, he went right to work. He's all about his business. You got thunder and lightning at running back with Montgomery, and they brought in Jahmyr Gibbs. Jake, you and I were talking about the pick at 12. Look, so far it's been working out. The wide receiver core, you got the core, you got three guys can give it to you. Amon-Ra St. Brown can score from anywhere on the field. Sam Laporta's out here breaking rookie records at tight end. Hyperextends his knee, plays the next week.
Ugh.
I know their defense isn't awesome, but they know who they are at least. They know their strength. They know their weaknesses. They play within that. And Dan Campbell, I mean, who else do you want to get fired up before a game? He makes the risky calls to me at the right times. You know, like when it's not the feel, yeah, not just going for it on fourth down or going for 2-point conversions just to do that because he thinks that makes him look good as a risk taker, as a head coach. He does it a lot of times and he rides that line, but there's also moments where he coaches within himself. I don't know, this team, I just love this team, and you're going to go up against the best roster in the NFL. What more could you ask for a conference championship game?
I think this game, if the Lions are going to win, it is going to come down to pass rush. Their pass rush going against the 49ers.
Okay.
I just do not believe that the 49ers, not that they were just god-awful, right, last week against the Packers, and the Packers were hot. We saw what they did to the Cowboys, but it is the Cowboys in the playoffs. But when I look at this San Francisco team, they're so complete in all three phases. I know Moody has struggled a little bit kicking this year, but I still believe in him. But when you look at this team, I just think there's a very low chance that they get a average or below average performance like we saw last week, and they were able to get away with it. And I've always said, when your playoff life or your postseason life flashes before your eyes, especially early in the playoffs, it's amazing how, not that you weren't taking it serious before, but how that kind of revs up your engine to play well. And in that same token, and again, I hope I'm wrong, I am rooting for the Lions. I will tell you that. I don't think the Lions defense, especially the secondary, is going to be able to contain what the 49ers have in their diverse cupboard of weapons they have, from tight end to wide receiver to Christian McCaffrey, what he can do at running back and then out in the slot. I just don't see that coming to fruition, and the weather's going to be better, which obviously helps out Brock Purdy.
That's huge.
But if that Lions pass rush can get to Brock Purdy, you can somewhat negate what goes on in the back end. And I do think the Lions are talented enough on offense. And Flaming Dragon, I think you made a good point the other day. If you line up and run it right at the 49ers, to me, that's one of their weaknesses in the box. And you wouldn't think that with who they have. And the Lions can do that. So to me, that's the formula, and you're going to have to catch a couple breaks, I think.
Let me ask one question since you brought up pass rush. The Lions have done this throughout the season, and they did a little bit last week against the Bucs. They'll line Aiden Hutchinson up inside, right? I mean, I know it helps create stunts, and you're trying to get any advantage that you can, but with the strength of the San Francisco 49ers having such a great offensive line, you got Trent Williams out there, do you think they'll line Aiden Hutchinson up more inside to sort of get some of those TED stunts and things like that to get
on passing downs, on predictable passing downs, you're going to put in we used to call it the cheetah package, your pass rush package, but you got to get there, right?
But if you don't get home, does it come off as, man, you wasted an opportunity, just let him try and win off the edge?
Well, I think you got to do a little bit of everything. I don't think there's one solid answer here, or just, one ingredient to put in the recipe. I think you got to throw multiple things at him, not just to confuse Brock Purdy, but to try and get that offensive line to take that one bad step. Now, getting to third in passing is going to be tough with the weapons that they have. That's half the battle. You line Aiden up inside sometimes, because again, you can line him up inside and he ends up outside on the stunts like you're talking about. I think it's got to be a mixed bag. But the Lions, whether it's trying to get there with 4, which is the best case scenario, or having to bring 5, you green dog somebody with the back, hey, you're going unless, the back stays in, you're going, back goes out, you're staying out. It's got to be a mixed bag, but they're going to have to catch some breaks. But, man, when you look at the Lions, they've caught the breaks they've needed to catch so far. They kind of feel a little bit like a team of destiny. I just have a hard time believing with the balance that the 49ers have in all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams, and the holes that the Lions still have defensively, it's going to be tough. But look, man, I hope they get it done.
God, look, I want the Lions to win this football game. I do. At this point, are the Lions America's team, or is anybody who plays the Chiefs America's team? That's what the debacle I am. But, I mean, if you're the Lions, the first thing you have to stop is Christian McCaffrey.
Good luck.
I know, but the first thing you have to stop, if you're going to kill me with something, you're not going to kill me with Christian McCaffrey. Beat me with George Kittle. Do we know if Deebo Samuel's playing?
I still haven't heard.
Still questionable. Brandon Ayuk, we know what the pieces that have the best roster. But
he didn't practice yesterday.
He didn't?
He did not.
Okay. I do think the Lions right now, and the way they're built and the way they're playing, are going to keep this game close. I think they're making plays in the secondary, but it's just Brock Purdy is going to have all day in the pocket. And on the other side, Jared Goff is going to have to make a lot of plays to win this football game. I think the 49ers win this football game because they're just a better roster in the secondary for the Lions. It's not great, but I do think the Lions keep it close.
Yeah,
I really do.
I agree with that.
Okay, so it does sound he was limited. So he did
Deebo's going to play.
Limited, did some drills in yesterday's practice. We'll see what happens today. I agree with you. He's going to take snaps. Of course, that just begs the question of how effective can he be. But look, they have plenty of pieces. They have plenty of other pieces, even though you did see in the middle of a game plan when Deebo Samuel went down. I think that kind of threw Kyle Shanahan off. You could tell there were plays that were designed to go to Deebo Samuel. Kyle Shanahan loves that play sheet. I think that threw them off in the middle of a game. Now that they're going in knowing how limited he may or may not be, they'll be a little more prepared for that.
Yeah, well, he's a guy that you know, you're kind of built to do different things with. You can line him up at running back. Obviously, he can play inside. He can play outside. He can do a little bit of everything. He's really good on the jet sweep. He's good on the reverse. And you have a lot of plays that are packaged for him. So when he goes out, obviously that does take a arrow out of your quiver. But the good news for the San Francisco 49ers is just reach back there. There's 6 more.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at, David, the Ravens and the Chiefs, before we get to the chat, we got the phone lines open it up, 7:15 a.m. Central. We want to hear from you, whatever you want to talk about, 1-855-236-3228. Ravens and Chiefs, David. When you look at this matchup, obviously the Taylor Swift stuff, but he's kind of tired of it. Do you think Lamar and them come through? Do you think they save America?
Man, I think Baltimore's as good as it gets right now, not only for just what Lamar Jackson can do and what he has been doing at the quarterback position this year since he stayed healthy, but man, they're so balanced. I mean, it's that old school Baltimore Ravens defense, but now you combine it with somebody who's as electric as Lamar Jackson. He's returned to MVP form, probably going to win the MVP again this year. They do a little bit of everything right. They do have some injuries. That's a question mark that I have. The line went up in this game as well. Now it's -4 Baltimore, and that'll be plus 164 with the Chiefs on the road. I just look at Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce, and kind of like he talked about, this whole Taylor Swift movement. It's got all these eyeballs on the NFL and on this team specifically. But I'm just looking at Patrick Mahomes, one of these great young quarterbacks going on the road who always delivers. I think we're in for some fireworks. I was thinking this last night though. I believe the Ravens have a better chance to blow the Chiefs out than the Chiefs have to blow the Ravens out.
I agree.
Still think it'll be a close game, but when you're looking at point spreads and you're looking at money line, I think the Ravens would have a better opportunity to win big.
I said this the other day, and I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to dance with the one that brought me. As good as Lamar Jackson is, the MVP, we know, and they finally got him some weapons. Thank God. It's about time. Yeah, laugh it up over there. I don't think you need to turn, as good as Lamar is, this doesn't need to turn into Lamar versus Patrick.
Yeah.
Just going punch for punch. That's what the Chiefs want.
The Bills needed that.
Yeah, like that. That's what the Chiefs want, because when you look at the Ravens, just like I talked about the 49ers, these are the two, talking about the 49ers Ravens, are the two most complete teams left that are in the playoffs. You overwhelm Patrick Mahomes with the team. They want you to turn it into Patrick versus Lamar, right? Because it's just back and forth, one-on-one. And we know the way Patrick is able to close in the playoffs. They've won, 7 in a row? 6 in a row in the playoffs? The man knows how to finish. It ain't DiGiorno. He's always delivering. All right, but The Ravens are so good on defense. I think they can overwhelm them. And then you look at Justin Tucker and their special teams unit. You look at the punt unit where they can control field position. There's a very narrow path to victory, in my opinion, for the Chiefs in this game, as crazy as that may sound. I think the Ravens, if they go out there and they even play their B game, just their B game, they should win and cover that spread. Mm-hmm. But it's hard instinctually to bet against Patrick Mahomes.
It is, especially
it's
with
hard.
4 points.
It's hard. And you've got all this momentum behind them. They've apparently figured it out on offense. And I'll say again what I said this week. Everybody's talking about the Chiefs' offense and kind of having a renaissance in the playoffs. And I get that. But the defense has what's been carrying them.
Yes.
Steve Spagnuolo has done a better job than a lot of DCs out there this year. In college and the NFL, I'll be honest. Look at the second half adjustments. The amount of points that the Chiefs are giving up in the second half, it's non-existent. It's incredible. But I do feel like if this game comes down to 3 phases versus the Chiefs' 3 phases and both teams play well, the Ravens win. Mm-hmm. Both teams play great, the Ravens win. The Ravens are going to have to play bad, and the Chiefs are going to have to play good for the Chiefs to win, as crazy as that sounds. But you cannot turn this into a jump shooting match between Patty Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. That's what they want, because it takes everything else out.
I've got the Ravens winning right now. I don't think the Chiefs +4 is a bad play, though. I'm hoping for a close game. I took them +3.5 at the Bills. They won outright. The one I haven't decided yet on, though, is the over-under at 44.
Yeah.
Just for what you mentioned, Steve Spagnuolo, Mike McDonald, all the defensive minds involved in this game. But at any time, Lamar Jackson can lead a team down the field and score. Patrick Mahomes can lead a team down the field and score. They are going to be run-heavy, too. I mean, if both these teams have their way with what they want, when you talk about Isaiah Pacheco and everything that Baltimore is able to do on the ground, they would chew a lot of clock. So that's the one I haven't decided is the 44.
Well, right now, one thing I do disagree with, Jake. If you come out and play your B game, if you're the Ravens against Patrick Mahomes, you're going to lose in the playoffs. You're going to lose. You are. I'm sorry. You have to bring your A game against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. The one thing I look to in a matchup like this is the Ravens play more man than anybody in the NFL. Anybody in the NFL. So Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen are going to be, Kyle Hamilton are going to be manned up with Travis Kelce the entire game. And one thing about Patrick Mahomes that he can do, if you want to run man in the back end and he breaks the pocket and starts extending plays, that's when you start getting in trouble. And that's what Patrick is best at. I think the Chiefs win this football game. Lamar, you're not only going against the Chiefs, buddy. You're going against Roger Goodell. You're going against Taylor Swift. You're going against a lot of people. And trust me, I want you to Jon Snow this situation. The Ravens are a phenomenal football team. But there's something about this Chiefs team. I'm not betting against them in the playoffs. I'm not going to do it. I don't care how good your roster is. You can be the MVP. But for some reason, once the playoff starts and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes really start cooking, then that's when you see the difference.
Does Rashee Rice have a big game?
Well, it seems he's becoming
it has to be
security blanket, B for Mahomes outside of Travis Kelce, obviously. But look, I that's how much I believe in the Ravens, right? And again, we say what you want about the Chiefs. We'll see this weekend. We'll see. But I do believe if the Ravens go out there and that they don't make critical mistakes, they don't fumble a punt on special teams, they don't keep giving the Chiefs life. Now that Lamar has weapons, I just think it has elevated this team to a new level. They're playing very confident right now, and Lamar needs this.
Mm-hmm. True.
Lamar needs this. True. He wants this. He's watched Patrick Mahomes get that damn trophy all the time, and he bet on himself this offseason. They gave him some weapons. I don't think he's going to come out and have his B game. I think that man right there is about to go take it from him. While they walk in their house, sit on their chair, get food out of their fridge, and go play in the Super Bowl. I think Lamar's got that dog in him.
Well,
I think he's got that much. He can outdog Patrick Mahomes with what he has now. Look at all Patrick's had. And Patrick's one of the greatest ever. I'm not saying that. Patrick's had weapons. Last year was the most impressive Super Bowl that I think the Chiefs have won because he didn't have a ton of weapons around him. Lamar has gone his whole career with hanging out with Mark Andrews, man. Yeah. Sitcom dad Mark Andrews, who's the dog.
And hadn't won it.
But now, I know, but now he has the pieces to go win it. I'm telling you, right, the Ravens' time is right now. Flock up. That's what I'm saying.
Just remember, the greatest weapon that Patrick Mahomes has and has had is Andy Reid.
Without a doubt.
That's the best weapon he has, calling plays for him.
Without a doubt. But speaking about weapons you need to have, All right. We live in the digital age. If you Google yourself, you will be shocked at how much your personal information is out there. And I'm sure you wonder about it sometimes, especially you guys that have a bunch of assets and things like that. And it's very crucial to understand your online footprint. So it's time to take control and protect your personal info with Delete Me. What is Delete Me? They're a hands-free subscription service that will remove your personal information that's being sold online from data brokers. I mean, it's pretty simple. You submit the info you want to have removed. Delete Me's experts will search the internet to find it and remove it, and you'll get a detailed report in 7 days, and they'll continue to remove your personal info every 3 months. I'm telling you guys, we use this service. They've been fantastic for me. It helps me sleep better at night, especially with the crazy age that we live in where people are able to find and sell your information. And it's easy not to notice how much of a digital footprint we leave online. Again, I'm telling you guys, when you got time today, do it. It'll shock you. And while using Delete Me, I saw every address that I'd ever lived at, where my family lives, my phone numbers, ones I have now and in the past, and a lot of people that I've been associated with. So I'm telling you guys, it's a smart move. If you're a smart person, and it's preventative of something happening later. And now you can get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/Crane. All right, and then use promo code Crane. That's CRAIN. That's the only way to get 20% off. You go to joindeleteme.com/CRAIN. Use the promo code CRAIN at checkout. Fantastic product. Protect yourself. It's the best offensive line you can have online. And also, we got some merch we're throwing in the chat. Let's put it in the YouTube chat. Let's put it in the Rumble chat. If you're on Daily Wire watching, it's pretty easy. You go to shop. Helps out the show a lot. We know you love us. We love y'all. Let's love each other and go get a hoodie. All right, what's going on in the Booster Club?
All right, chat, hit that like and subscribe button. If you donate and it's on topic, I will read it, but all donations will get read on this show. Let's get some questions rolling. We're going to start off with Patch. It says, I got Jahmyr Gibbs' first touchdown and the Lions to win this weekend, going off at plus 375.
Yes.
God, I like the first one. I don't know why you just wouldn't take the Lions to cover, though. Like, why? If I'm going to take a first touchdown scorer,
Wait, hold on.
It should be
plus
more,
375.
though. 375 is not enough.
I mean, the Lions
that should
money
be more than plus 375 for Gibbs.
Yeah, because like any first touchdown score other than Christian McCaffrey is going to be nothing less than plus 4.
I'm going to tell you if I was going to take a Lion to be the first touchdown scorer, I'm going with Sammy Laporta. That's who I'm going with.
I like that. It's not a bad bet. Let's go to EWB11. He says, still holding on our hope on the Lions. My Michigan Natty and Lions Super Bowl parlay is still
it's a state of destiny situation.
Look, if the Lions win the Super Bowl, I think Michigan should just stop doing sports.
Just quit for a while.
Walk off. It's a walk off.
Yeah.
Just stop. The Detroit Tigers, y'all can keep trying. That's never going to happen. But it's a walk off. I mean, at that greatest sports year ever, is it already the Pistons are awful. But is it the greatest? If the Lions win the Super Bowl, people from Michigan, is it the greatest year in the history of the state of Michigan sports?
They'll be talking about this like the lady on the Titanic. Like
they will be
80 years from now.
Without a doubt.
All right, let's go to Ozoki Andrew. Says Brady, Manning, Morton, and Warner are the only QBs to take two different franchises to the Super Bowl. If Jared Goff does it, is Warner a good comp for the gumball smuggler?
God, I like that.
Warner.
I like that. And they similar play style.
Kind of.
Too. I like that. Who was that said that? EW?
That was someone I have to go find.
All right, I'm not going to ask you to do that.
Go read it. Let's go to a donation here. I know we're going to get to, but hold my beer, $5 donation. The Falcons hire reminds me of my ex.
Yeah.
Resentment and a tall boy to keep it moving. Also, reporting directly to Arthur Blank, are we the new Cowboys?
We're about to get to that.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in a second.
All right, let's go to Royal Eagle. He says, 49ers are better, but without Debo, I think the Lions can get some stops when it matters, and the offense can do enough to win this football game.
You need a couple drop passes or overthrows on third down. If you're the Lions, obviously you want to go in there and blow them out, but we all know that's not happening. You just want to hang around and hang around and hang around and have a chance in the fourth quarter. That, to me, is the recipe for the Lions. Even if the Niners get up 14-0 or Christian McCaffrey, breaks one for 65 and a touchdown on the first drive, you just want to be there in the end. Keep it within a score. Give yourself a chance. Let that Dan Campbell Thanos energy kind of come together, and then, let Jesus take the wheel. See what happens.
All right, let's go to Sasha. He says, I got 2 active future bets left over from the tailgate. One of them is 49ers to the Super Bowl. Sorry, Detroit. I called it back in November. How do the 49ers need to win this football game?
Told you earlier, Sasha. You know, dog. It's again, you can't. It'd be nice to take away the Lions' hope early if you're the 49ers. I don't think you can do that with this team and Dan Campbell, but it's just going out there and playing complimentary football. Brock doesn't need to do too much. Spit it out on the check down when you need to spit it out on the check down. Take your shots when you need to take your shots. Can't give up a punt return for a touchdown. Can't get a punt block. Can't give up a kick return. Killing hope early is great. Don't see that happening. 49ers got to go out there and play 49ers football.
All right, let's go to Ferris. Let's go to Bradley Stroh. What's up, Bradley? He says Lamar is a lot better now than he has ever been with the talent that he has. Yeah. I do think he needs to bring his A game. But what do the Ravens need to avoid to win this football game?
What I was saying earlier, this does not need to become Lamar Jackson going back and forth with Patrick Mahomes. This is, and again, we've talked about the Ravens' weapons that they have around Lamar. That's been a big reason that they've been able to elevate. Obviously, it's the greatest team sport there is. You have to have a team to win it. But this is where that Ravens defense, this is where that move to get Roquan Smith, this is where Patrick Queen, this is where Kyle Hamilton and all these guys, you want to be the Ravens that we're used to seeing? Go take it to the Chiefs. I think the Ravens can actually force the action onto the Chiefs. I like what McDonald's going to do. I know they do play a lot of man. I'm interested to see how much they pressure Mahomes and play man, because obviously the more you bring, the less you have in the back end, and playing man is an interesting proposition. But the Chiefs, they're not loaded at the skill position. I like Rashee Rice. All right, he ended up being a steal. Right? Obviously, Travis Kelce's a problem. But I'm not just horrified of Justin Watson and some of these other guys running around. I feel a lot better playing man against the Chiefs than I do playing man against some other teams.
Well, which role players are going to step up? I mean, if they're going to play man, are you going to have guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire making big plays out of the backfield, catching the ball down the field? Marquez Valdez-Scantling had several big plays last game. First big catches I've seen from a while for him. So are you going to have the same type of play from role guys, especially if they decide to man up on the defensive side?
No, it's going to be interesting. All right, let's get to rapid fire. We'll get back to the chat. Phone lines open up 7:15. We got Timmy B coming in here in about 13 minutes.
All right, boys, the Atlanta Falcons have named Raheem Morris head coach. He was the defensive coordinator at Rams for the past 3 seasons. This marks a return to Atlanta for him, though. He filled in for Dan Quinn when he was fired. Morris went 4-7 during that tenure. Remember, he was the head coach of the Tampa Bay Bucks from 2009 to 2011, where he went 17-31. And like our friend in the chat said, yes, Raheem Morris and the general manager will both report directly to owner Arthur Blank instead of the CEO, Rich McKay. Is this a good hire, and why can't the Falcons have nice things?
I don't know how you look at this. And take all the stupid race stuff out of it. I'm so sick of hearing about that side of it. I don't know how you look at this hire and you say, man, I feel really good about it. But I tell you what, a lot of people said that about Dan Campbell, right? There's been a lot of, and I know that's a little bit of a different situation. I want to give him a shot. Because, again, he was the head coach in 2009, 2011. There's a lot of growth that could take place over that time, right? And everybody's time isn't their first job, right? How many times have we seen guys get a job and not go well, then that second job they get, after paying their dues again, they've learned from their mistakes. So I want to give the man a chance. But if you're a Falcons fan, and it starts with Arthur Blank. What do you mean report straight to Arthur Blank? You're my boss anyway. What's Arthur Blank going to call the plays? Like, what? Yeah, you're going to report to him. The man owns the team. He's the boss. He's the king of the team. I don't know why you even put that caveat in there, but you had Bill Belichick out there. You had Mike Vrabel out there. I just think there were a lot of guys that you could have had before. I mean, they said they interviewed 14 different coaches is what I've heard. A rumor going around. Mm-hmm. It seems like the Falcons job, I mean, maybe it's just not that attractive anymore. I don't know why. I mean, Atlanta's a great place to have an NFL team, but I want to give the man a chance. Let's see what he's learned, how he's grown. But again, if you're a Falcons fan, I don't think you're waking up this morning, drinking a shower beer excited.
They did interview 14 candidates. 4 coaches had second interviews. That was Bill Belichick got a second interview, Raheem Morris, Bobby Slowick, offensive coordinator at the Texans, and then the defensive coordinator from the Panthers. So you at least you just had an offensive-minded head coach. That didn't work out. Maybe now they're trying to go and copy what the Texans have done this.
Well, you know what? If you were going to get a defensive coach, you know who you probably should have got?
Bill Belichick.
I don't know, Bill Belichick?
Yeah. But look, we've seen plenty of NFL teams hire NFL coaches with losing records. It's happened plenty of times. But at the end of the day, what's going to make or break Raheem Morris's coaching career at Atlanta Falcons is who you have a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing with DeMeco Ryans as you brought up at Texas. I think DeMeco Ryans is a great coach. All right, but I feel like having C.J. Stroud over there helped out a lot. Same thing with Dan Campbell. Bringing Jared Goff over helped out a lot. And they have the 8th pick right now in the first round. All right, the 8th pick. And there's a lot of pieces that are going to be sitting around there at 8, just like a guy just run around at LSU this year. Michael Penix Jr. Desmond Ridder is not going to be the guy for the Falcons.
No.
It's not. You have pieces.
Well,
all right? If you have Kyle Pitts, right? You have Bijan, who's going to be an absolute baller. It's going to take time. You have Drake London, who's a dog. You had a couple really good safeties. So you're missing a quarterback, and that is going to make or break whether or not Raheem Morris makes it at the Falcons.
If you're the Falcons, the question that I look at, knowing you need a quarterback, is the quarterback class so deep that you are willing to wait until 8, or do you make a call to Chicago? Say, listen, we want Caleb.
I think they're going quarterback.
You think they're going
quarterback.
The Bears are? Well, if that's the case, then that negates that. But do you say, all right, well, Penix, should be there. Jaden Daniels should be there. Drake May, don't know. We'll see where Drake goes. I think he'll be gone by then.
I do too.
But are you willing to wait? Look, I think Jaden Daniels is the only thing that scares me about Jaden Daniels is just he's still, and we saw him, he gained weight, going into this year. We saw him at SEC Media Days. Just the way he plays and the way he runs. If Anthony Richardson cannot survive running in this league, being the tank that he is, if Cam Newton cannot eventually survive in this league, being the tank he is, I don't see Jaden Daniels unless he drastically changes the way that he runs, right? This is a guy that was jumping into the arms of Georgia defensive linemen.
Okay. Man, he'd be fun to watch in Atlanta, though.
He'd be way fun to watch in Atlanta. By the time, don't run unless you have to run. And then if you run, slide and glide.
It's like anything. He's got to learn how to get tackled in the NFL. And they're not going to do what they're doing with Anthony. We're not going to be out there running Q power in the goal line.
No.
If Bryce Young can be out there and make it through a full year without getting hurt.
That's true.
I think
speaking about Bryce Young, the Panthers have their new head coach as well, Dave Canales. Dave Canales was the quarterback. He was the offensive coordinator last year for the Tampa Bay Bucks, developed Baker Mayfield, and the year before that, the quarterback's coach with the Seattle Seahawks when Geno Smith had one of his best years. You guys like this hire?
Yeah, if you're Bryce Young, I'd be really excited. Now give me some help. Now I need help.
Please.
Listen, I like Adam Thielen, but I don't want to go out there and be like, hey, guess what? Here's Gonzaga. Good luck.
Yeah, Adam's like, look, if we're talking prime Adam Thielen, yeah, you got a dog out there. And Adam's still good, but he's in the last years.
Yeah, he's in the twilight of his.
If there's anybody who needs to make a move, the Panthers need to make a move this draft to get the receiver they want. You want to talk about jumping up to 1?
Get Marvin Harrison?
Come on now.
You give Bryce Young, Marvin Harrison Jr., and you need more pieces than that. I get that. Their offensive line.
The Panthers are a couple drafts.
Yeah, they are. It's not just like, hey, we need a couple receivers that are good. Y'all couldn't block somebody on Facebook.
I need a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
All right, next one here. New England Patriots wide receiver Kayshon Boutte was arrested Thursday in Baton Rouge over allegations of illegal sports betting while he played at LSU. The alias account believed to be used by Boutte placed more than 8,900 wagers, so 9,000 bets, with at least 17 on NCAA football games, including at least 6 involving LSU.
Okay, so when you really look into this, the craziest part about this whole story to me is that you know what his username was on the sportsbook?
What was
it?
Kayshon Boutte 01.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
How stupid? It was Kayshon Boutte.
How stupid can you be?
So,
honestly, this makes me, if I'm the Patriots, I'm going to cut you just because I don't know if I can teach you the offense. If you're that dumb, if we're going to be honest, you're the worst criminal ever. That's like walking into the bank and be like, my name's John Johnson. Tell the cops. Tell everybody, I am the one robbing the bank.
What if your name's Bill, though, and you said that?
Well, then you're smart. But that's not what he did. He didn't say, hey, my name's Lance.
This could be a setup, though. This could be just a fan who said, I'm going to put Kayshon Boutte's name so they go after him.
Brilliant.
Don't look into me.
Well, then you have maybe the smart. Is that Lex Luthor's son?
So wait, what are the details about betting on LSU?
Okay, well, I heard. And again, this is all allegedly. But they said he won like a lot. Like he went from like 80,000, like 500,000, then lost it. But they said that he bet on one game where he was supposed to have like over 82.5 receiving yards and a touchdown on like an 8-leg parlay, and neither one of his legs hit. This is just here's the part I don't get. Okay, you know you can't do this, right? You know you can't do this, and you shouldn't be able to do this in college. But what I'm having trouble understanding is, why would you not just call somebody and say, hey, man, you have a sportsbook account? Put this bet in here for me. Put it in for me. All right? What? You don't have to be Nicolas Cage from National Treasure to figure this out. How is this difficult? Like, it goes almost back to, like, I almost blame your friends. Yeah. You have terrible friends. It's like rich people that get DUIs. You've got terrible friends. You're rich. Why are you driving home? Why are you driving drunk in the first place? But why are you driving home drunk? You're rich. It's like Deshaun Watson. What are his friends that be like, dog, stop going to massage parlors. Like, get better friends. This is the dumbest thing ever. Well, and you should be penalized for it.
At least he put the 0-1.
It's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. This is just, this makes everybody worse.
How are you going to bet on yourself than have the worst season you've had at LSU?
Like,
I always say this, you can't be ugly and mean.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to be ugly, you need to be
funny.
Nice. Or be funny, unless you want anybody around you. You can't bet on yourself, all right, then play terrible.
All of the problems that he was having that last year make so much more sense.
Yeah.
Now. They make more sense.
You're pressing. That's what you're doing. Like, I feel like if you bet on yourself, like, it completely throws you out of the natural flow of being a football player.
Man, while we're talking about gambling, did you see this, that the NFL came out and said that while players are at the Super Bowl in Vegas this year, they're not allowed to partake in any gambling. Forget about on the game or on other sports teams. No casino games, no blackjack, can't play poker while NFL players are out in Vegas for the Super Bowl.
You can't play poker.
How is that?
No casino games.
How is that legal?
No casino games while the NFL has been pushing gambling. And I get not gambling on other NFL games. I truly understand.
I can't go play blackjack?
No casino games is
How is that legal?
How can you stop that?
You're part of the Shield. They told them they can't gamble.
How
wild is that?
Legal.
You can't go play blackjack?
I don't understand.
I would just retire for 3 hours and go play blackjack and then unretire.
How does me going to lose $3,000 on a blackjack table
or win? Don't sell yourself short. Or win.
Win. No, look, no one gets up and leaves the table after you win. Who does that?
This year's Super Bowl will take place at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Players who compete in the big game. No, I don't want to see this ad right here. Hold on. See, now it's giving me ads, guys. While
there
I'm
you
trying
go.
to read here. You see this? Vegas is up and 404 not found.
So
they've tapped in here.
So I can't go play slots or anything.
No.
All right, let's try this again here.
Did you say it's just the guys who are going to be playing in the Super Bowl?
The NFL has informed its players that gambling in any form is prohibited during the week of the Super Bowl. Front Office Sports obtained the following message from the NFL. While in Vegas, players participating in the Super Bowl are prohibited from engaging in any form of gambling, including casino games and betting on any sport.
Well, that's crazy, but I'll tell you what's not a gamble. Drinking Black Rifle coffee.
That's true.
Because it's the best one out there. All right, and you're always a winner. All right, and it fuels the Daily Wire every morning. Walk around the office, it's buzzing. Everybody's excited. They're ready to carpe the diem. All right, diem the carp. And not only do they have ready-to-drink cans for people with no time to brew coffee if you're running an up-tempo offense lifestyle in the traditional way, but their coffee subscription gives you the chance to purchase limited edition flavors. We're still trying to get the Flamin' Dragon flavor. We're working on it.
It works.
All right, they give you nothing but the best. You got a Coffee of the Month Club where you get premium roasts from the best farms worldwide, wide. And each month, You'll get a new exotic roast, shipped to your door, each with a unique origin and killer bag design with a matching sticker, not a decal. So save money and drink America's coffee. Go to blackriflecoffee.com. Use promo code BOOSTER at checkout for 10% off your one-time purchase or your first Coffee Club order. Booster Club, Coffee Club, Cool Kids Club, all the same thing. That's blackriflecoffee.com, promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER for 10% off. And guess what?
What?
It's run by very principled men and women that give back with every purchase you make. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee. It's like the Lions are America's
Did you
team.
say DM a carp?
No, he said Carpe the Diem. That was awesome.
No, but then he said
it.
you should DM a carp.
Yeah, if you've ever seen
If you're out there DMing a carp, go get some help.
yeah, you're a weird fisherman.
Yeah.
But look, we try not to play favorites on Crane & Company, right? We enjoy all our guests. They're all great people.
Yeah.
They do a great job.
There's
We're
one
excited to
guy.
get more guests on. But there's one guy. You know, there's always the creme de la creme.
Great
the
golf
top
shot.
of the pyramid. Smooth swinging lefty.
Doesn't he look like he's smooth with his irons? He just
Oh, for sure. Like, you can just look at Timmy B and realize he's going to stick that 8-iron.
Yeah.
when he
120
goes
out,
there.
you're in trouble.
And
Just
make the
lefty,
putt.
just
Yeah.
saucing
And make
it
that
up.
putt.
Live from the Chateau. Covers college basketball. It covers college football. He covers anything. It's like a blanket. Tim Brando. Timmy B, what's up, man?
Hey!
Hey, Tanner, I actually hit a 9-iron from 120.
Oh, he's
He's a strong man.
Strong
I am
words
man. I
from
am
a strong
now.
man.
Yeah, yeah. With that kind of yardage, I could be going to Q school for the LPGA.
I was about to
Yeah,
say.
Tim.
I was about to say. You want to join this all-woman scramble team with me?
Yeah, I'm
Let me
just
tell you
bringing
something.
irons.
Yeah.
I will say this because women's sports is on my mind a little bit today. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about it because I watched that LSU South Carolina game last night. I don't know if you did, but it was awesome. I mean, it really was a lot of fun. And I did a women's game back about a month ago at Texas, and it was against Baylor, where Kim Mulkey coached and won 3 national titles before going to LSU. But and they're good. I mean, it's just so much fun to watch the women play. I tell golfers this all the time, especially guys that don't play a lot and are trying to maybe, crack 100. If you want to really learn how to swing the golf club, because your game is going to match from a distance standpoint as an amateur golfer, more what an LPGA Tour player would be doing, select club selection, that kind of thing, than a PGA guy. I mean, let's face it, these guys are bombing it, beyond recognition. Watch the women play because fundamentally they're so sound. And that's true with women's basketball. It's one of the reasons why it's soaring. Now, I know Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark last year in that championship game had a lot to do with it. What Dawn Staley has done at South Carolina is another reason. But still, and of course, what UConn, the dynasty of Gino Oriana and Pat Summitt, all that, there's some history. But the women's game has never been better, okay? Yeah. And it's never been more popular. And I think one of the reasons is that they're so fundamentally sound. Basketball played just above the rim may be exciting, but it's not necessarily fundamentally sound, okay? These ladies are playing the game the way, Naismith wanted it to be played. So it's a lot of fun. But, yeah, Tanner, I'm telling you, for me, at 120, that's a 9-iron. And if I got a little wind behind me, it might be a 48-degree wedge. Okay,
Wow.
So give me my due.
You're right, Timmy. That's on
let
me.
the
That's
chef
on
cook.
me, Timmy.
Timmy B, I do before we get into the Michigan situation, the Alabama situation, I do want to kind of run something by you and see what you think. That game last night, LSU and South Carolina, I watched it. Was fantastic watching because the product was good, right? It wasn't all over the place. It wasn't sloppy. And there's a lot less depth of unbelievable talent like we saw last night in the women's game, but it's getting better, right? You see it across the country.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking when I say this, and I agree with you that the game's not just played above the rim, and there is a beauty, right? Greg Maddux throwing 88 to 90, like there's a beauty to it, right? Not just pumping 98 to 102. But do you think it would be better? And again, I am in all seriousness, if they lowered the goal to 9 feet, do you think that would, you don't think it would be better? Like, You don't think that would add a little element to it?
No, because immediately the response from the fans at large would be, "Oh, come on!" Every sexist that ever has said anything disparaging about the women's game would be coming out of the closet, and probably rightfully so, to say, "Yeah, okay, yeah, but it's not the men's game." I do think that we equate basketball as basketball, and when we see now, I do take exception sometimes to on a telecast when statistically and historically comparisons are made between the women and the men because they are different games, and the level of competition has changed in large measure because more teams and more conferences are investing in the women's game than did 25 years ago. Okay, there was a reason why UConn and Tennessee, Louisiana Tech, and Delta State and a few other, Virginia had a great run with women's basketball because they cared about it. Now everybody cares about it. Everyone's investing in the game, so it's a better game now. But there's still that fragment of the audience out there that looks down its nose at the women's game, and you know where they come from. You know how they are. You may know some of them, okay? And I'm not watching that crap, that stuff. And the moment you move the goal down, they'll come out and they'll have some juice when they make their points. You don't want that to happen. So no.
Yeah, it's just an interesting theory. I was thinking about that last night watching that game. Right. But I tell you what,
I'm not saying that the idea is completely terrible. Okay, I'm not. But I'm saying to you, the end result in today's culture would be what I'm saying, and that's not good.
Yeah, without a doubt. Heck, we're just trying to keep dudes out of women's sports.
It's not completely terrible, but that is the dumbest.
Yeah, it's it's not completely terrible, but that could possibly be the worst idea.
By the way, if we do want, and to take it a step further, if we do want Riley Gaines and Sage Steele and the very few women that have been out there making their points about protecting Title IX and protecting women's sports, if it were to happen, okay, with a trans player on a really solid women's basketball team, you would probably see the earth move a little bit. You would see more, I think, prominent women that already should be saying something that aren't saying something, okay? Because women's college basketball is now popular enough that it's going a bit more mainstream. I don't think a woman playing on the LPGA tour that's trans is necessarily going to get a lot of traction. I just don't. But I think if it were to happen in women's college basketball, it would be a very big deal. And it would raise the level of the conversation to a point where we would get rid of some of this nonsense because it is that. It is absolute nonsense. And why more women that are in a position to say something and should, besides Martina, okay, who did. But Martina's not as current now as she was 20 years ago. We need more of that. And if it were to happen in the women's game of college basketball, I think that we would probably get some movement towards ending this gobbledygook because that's what it is. It's a crock of blank.
Yeah. Well, speaking about transitioning, Michigan and Alabama both transitioned past their head coaches with Nick Saban retiring. Obviously, you like that segue there. And Jim Harbaugh going to the NFL. I want to start with Alabama, though. You are not going to replace – nobody can replace Nick Saban in what he's done, right? And kudos to Kalen DeBoer for taking on being the guy to follow the GOAT. When you look at the hire, Timmy B, how would you grade the hire? And what would be your advice to Alabama fans year one under a new coach?
Well, I don't know that – they never listened to me.
Oh, that
And when I told you guys earlier in the year that the end was near, and you could tell because of the way Nick was responding to the local media about the depth chart, he got really petty about some stuff. There were indications that Saban was not himself. Okay, and I wasn't the only one that felt this way. Our friend Paul Feinbaum on occasion took him on early in the season, and he was right. Because he knows him, and he said this is out of character for him. Why go down this road? But the reason for it was at certain times, even though publicly he never admonished the direction college football was going in with the portal and and NIL because it would have been foolhardy. It would have been a bad choice because
Dabo.
He's always been the king. Yeah, he would be he's always been the king of adaptation. He's never resisted change. But this time it was apparent from time to time. There were subtle hints out there for those of us that have followed him and know him pretty well that he was at wit's end with it. But Bama fan is still in denial. I mean, they're absolutely still in denial. And Kayshon Boutte is going to be feeling the brunt of it, and in large measure because of that schedule that's in front of them that is not easy. Alabama goes from being, as I used to always say, the pure playoff privilege to always catching a break to having a really difficult schedule next year. You check that baby out. There's 3 L's on it without much trouble for us to find, okay, for Alabama. And that's even if they hadn't lost all these guys to the portal shortly after Nick announced, okay? So it's going to take a bit of time, but Kayshon Boutte is an A hire.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, an absolute A hire. Now, Lanning might have been an A+ hire because of his connection to the program and his connection to the SEC. But, his situation at Oregon was just too strong. And the buyout maybe a little too great, even for Alabama. Kayshon was going to cost you about $8 to $10 million less to get. I thought Greg Byrne did a remarkable job zeroing in on him. Those of us that know DeBoer know him to be a classic success story. The likes that I think the only comparison I can make is, and again, a lot of fans don't. He doesn't always resonate the same way as an elite coach would, but I think all of us agree Lance Leipold is one hell of a football coach, right?
Yeah.
He's a hell of a football coach. And what has he done? He has, at every level, okay, Wisconsin Whitewater, Buffalo, now at Kansas, okay? And he's what has he had with him? Consistency, okay? His Kotelnicki, his offensive coordinator, has been with him forever. And Andy Kotelnicki is one of the best assistants out there. Ryan Grubb, one of the best assistants out there. He is a great offensive coordinator. Hell, Nick wanted to hire him, and he turned him down because of his loyalty to Kayshon Boutte. So I think he's a great hire. Absolutely fantastic hire. And as far as the people hitting the portal, that's going to happen to just about everybody now. I don't care how good you are or what the circumstances or which coach happens to leave. Most of those great players are coming because they thought the difference in going to Alabama was Nick Saban. I mean, they really did. That's why they went there. That's why he was an automatic number one in recruiting every stinking year. So my advice to Bama fan would be Nick Saban was not welcomed as an SEC coach down at LSU. They didn't know enough about him. Mm-hmm. My God, Jerry DiNardo beat him in the Independence Bowl. How good could he be? Well, he was pretty damn good. He changed the fortunes of the program to take LSU into what I still believe is the golden era of LSU football. Wayne Huizenga was just too good a guy to pick up, and that's where I'm going to make my little transition into Harbaugh. Okay, Nick Saban was how old when he made that choice? Jim Harbaugh is how old when he's making this choice? And Jim had already been there and tasted it. He had gone to the Super Bowl in New Orleans in 2012 against his brother. I was there. I saw it, and that taste is there. You can't get rid of it. Saban could not resist Wayne Huizenga being on the tarmac at the Baton Rouge airport for 2 days waiting on him to go to Miami. And so he had to take the plunge. It didn't work out, and history was forever changed. But privately, in a room without consequences, Nick Saban and his wife, Miss Terry, would tell you that one of the biggest mistakes they ever made was leaving Baton Rouge for the Miami Dolphins. And how history might have been changed had he stayed, at LSU.
Yeah. But and he still went 500 in the league.
Yeah,
he still went 500. Yeah. I have no doubt he would have had success in the NFL. But talking about Jim Harbaugh, Tim, 40-3 over the past 3 years, an undefeated national championship, 15-0. He returns to the school that his alma mater, where he played quarterback for Bo Schembechler. Like you said, Michigan can't give him a Super Bowl ring. He wants to return. He's going to coach the Los Angeles Chargers. I think he's going to do a fantastic job. But I just need your help in understanding why so many people and networks like ESPN hate Jim Harbaugh. I understand he's a polarizing figure and he's pro-player compensation and pro-life. He's a disruptor, pushes the boundaries in terms of NCAA compliance rules and stuff like that. I get that. I've seen more polarizing figures like Urban Meyer not get this same sort of treatment. What is the deal with why so many people hate Jim Harbaugh?
In large measure, because of that honesty about his faith and spirituality. That's a lot of it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there is absolutely a movement in today's media that is anti-Christian in its approach. And anybody that's that devout, that wears that on their chest, is going to get called out. And I say this because I very rarely go in this direction. All right, as a broadcaster, because I don't want to offend anybody. I think other than politics, the thing that most alienates people around the country is when you do go the route of religion or faith, any faith-based commentary. And it became almost old hat for young reporters when they were coming up through the ranks to be told how to handle it when a player or a coach started any interview with you in the aftermath of a game by saying, "First, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior." That kind of thing made people in our business aware to coach up the reporters to not take the microphone away, but to just move on. Okay, don't ask any follow-up questions. Okay, that was part of media training 101. Get on to the meat of the conversation. So there's some truth to why, old-fashioned television truth on why you don't go that route when a proud coach or player that's Christian wants to go in that direction. I'm not saying that's wrong for the media. In fact, I think it's right. You do want to get to the meat of he's got the microphone. He earned his opportunity to say how devout he or she is. Let him do it, but then get on to the meat of the matter. But now in today's world where corporations are going out of their way, to tell you what their policies are, be they woke or not so woke or heavily conservative based, they're going to tell you what their feelings are. And as a result, you're seeing the media take a direction on certain people based on what they believe the character of the individual might possibly be. And you point out ESPN, I think to some extent, it's unfair to just throw them under the bus because they're on the air all damn day talking about supposedly sports all damn day. Not really anybody is other than FS1, I guess, on cable, and anybody in your positions, guys, that are on streaming television today. The bottom line is when someone is that out front, you're going to take on a certain amount of negativity. You just have to understand that. You got to know that. And Jim does. I took him on, I think I mentioned this to you before my first game about the depth chart situation back in 2017. Yeah. And I had known Jim since he played for Bo. In '86, I covered him my first year on the sidelines and hosting college football CFA primetime. Bo Schembechler did an interview with me, and he was the third place Heisman getter that day on the first weekend in December of 1986. Jim has always been the guy that you loved if you had on your team, the guy you hated if you didn't. Okay. Yeah. He just was a guy that stirred the pot. That's who he is. And he's been true to that through his career at Michigan. So you're going to have a strong opinion one way or the other on Jim. And he knows that. It comes with the territory. But to answer your question specifically, David, it comes back down to this. Okay. If you as a corporation view yourself as progressive, a person like Jim Harbaugh scares the living hell out of you.
Yeah, okay. No, as a disruptor, I understand that. And that's a fantastic response. Thank you for sharing that. I want Flamin' Dragon here to jump in. But I just want to, one follow-up there on you talking about going after ESPN is not quite fair. And this is why I thought you were going to go in a different direction with this. I don't see it as being unfair because that's where I see all the criticism coming from Paul Feinbaum, from Peter Burns. Ryan McGee just wrote an article that went live that said Jim Harbaugh's legacy at Michigan is complicated. No, it's not. I don't see Colin Cowherd and Joel Klatt Platt and the guys at Fox doing that, which is why it feels to me like it is a situation where whoever the network has an affiliation with that conference. Fox, we have an affiliation with the Big Ten. Let's support Big Ten coaches. ESPN has affiliation with the other conferences. To me, I grew up watching ESPN all day long, all day, every day. I need you to be sort of the arbiter of truth in the sports space, not pick and choose sides on which coaches you like based off what the television contracts are.
Yeah, well, those days are gone.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like I grew up on Huntley Brinkley and Walter Cronkite and Peter Jennings. All right, but the bottom line is those guys are gone, and the direction of news has gone in a different direction. And that's the circumstances that we face today, is that sports basically, in its own lighthearted way, we like to think of ourselves as a toy department. We like to think of ourselves as, hey, this is the departure from the daily travails of people's pursuits in life. But truthfully, it's not anymore. And that's my point to you. Yeah, the guys out front that are maybe writing these stories. And by the way, some of the names you mentioned, I respect the hell out of. Brian McGee, Paul Feinbaum, those are good guys, friends of mine, all right? But when the company wants certain things to be said and or written, social justice obligations need to be filled, okay? And I don't think there's any doubt that social justice obligations have to be filled at ESPN. And so the people that are employed there understand it and know it, okay? On the rundown, the producers know it, and the broadcasters, and sometimes I think the journalists are aware of it. So I'm not saying that they are writing what just the company wants them to write, but I'm saying that
I get it.
that culture. I'm saying that culture is what takes them in that direction.
Well, thank goodness for the Daily Wire.
Yeah, that's why we got Brandon coming in. Timmy B.
Yeah.
All right, Flaming.
All right, Timmy. I'm going to go to Danny here, and we're running out of time. We're definitely going to get one question from the chat. He wants to know, are Saban and Harbaugh leaving going to offer true parity to college football more than the portal or more than NIL, or will others such as Kirby Smart just slide into that role and become the new Darth Vader?
I was asked this question yesterday by someone in media about, Tim, who's the face of college football from a coaching standpoint now? That's an interesting question when you think about it, because Saban is gone. Kirby, I guess, certainly
gotta be right. Gotta be right.
Yeah.
Kirby.
But I don't know outside the South that Kirby would be that guy. And in real time, when I was asked the question, I started mentioning all the young bucks coming up that, we've got probably a plethora of great young college football coaches in America today, maybe more than we've ever had. Lanning and DeBoer would have been, in my view, 1-2, in that area. Because now DeBoer's been around longer and coached at smaller schools and whatnot, but his Division III background and NAIA background. But to say that Kirby is Nick now, I don't think he is nationally. Dabo would probably be more well known. If you were walking down the streets of any city, who would be noticed more in a city that maybe isn't a college football mecca. But I think probably Dabo, a little bit like Jim, to your point, is a guy that you either love or hate, because Dabo is just, he's going to say what he thinks, and whether you like it or not, that all shucks thing is not greeted the same way by the media, the way it was when St. Bobby was doing his thing. When Bobby was going all dead gummit, it was something that was perceived as natural.
Yeah.
When Dabo does it now, it's perceived as fake. It's a Southern con job, and those of us that know Dabo know that's not the case. That's really who he is. Okay. And if you know his background, you understand that, but he's having to deal with a little bit of that. I think the fallout that you were talking about, but I think that the college game now, from a coaching standpoint of current coaches, if you're looking for a Mount Rushmore of current coaches, probably Kirby is at the top, but trying to find out who's 2, 3, and 4, that's up for debate.
Yeah, which I think
it really
great.
is.
Which I think is great. I hope it stays that way.
I do too.
I hope it stays that way.
It was going that way, Jake. It was going that way while Nick and Jim were still in the business. Okay, it really was. Nick was and that's one of the reasons I think that he felt like now was the time, because All these things going on, plus expansion of the college football playoff. You know, I don't want to say it was easy to win all those titles. It wasn't. I mean, what he did was exemplary. The stuff of legend. But would it be harder to win the same number of national titles in that year, in 16 years, like he did between 7 and now?
Yeah.
But when he got the job in 2007, hell yeah, it's going to be a lot harder.
I agree with that 100%. But what I think we can all agree with, Timmy B, whenever you come on here, it's fantastic. My friend, we're going to get, when we come back, we're going to talk some college hoops. Got to get you on. Where's your next venture in the college basketball world?
Got a good one. I'm leaving in the morning. That's why I could do Fire Dragon Friday.
Let's go.
That's why I was here to do Fire Dragon Friday. It's a freaking festival.
It is national holiday, Tim.
It is. It's the best
I got
day.
the holiday feeling. And a hoop-dee-doo.
Yeah, dinner and a show.
I'm headed to Jersey. I've never done a game. You know, remember I've told you about going to the Rose Bowl for the first time, going to the Big House for the first time, to the old horseshoe in the banks of the old Intenji. Oh boy, for the first time. Okay, how much that mattered to me. The building that's now known as Jersey Mike's in Piscataway for years was called the Rack. The Rack. And Rutgers makes noise. That is an absolute pit. And I've never done a game there. And last year, they beat Purdue twice. Beat them at home and beat them at Purdue. And on Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 Central, on Fox, we'll be on before the playoff games get rolling on CBS and Fox. So tune in. And I've also never worked with LaFonso Ellis, speaking of an ESPN.
Oh, man, that'll be great. That'll be great.
LaFonso, I've worked with Raft and Donnie Marshall and Jim Jackson. That's been it so far this year. Well, and Sarah Kustok, we did the women's game together. But I've never worked with Fonz, and I know him so well from his days at Notre Dame and when he was coming up as a player. Called his games with the Nuggets in the NBA in the 90s. So LaFonso and I'll have that game on Fox. And Zach Edey and company taking on Rutgers. Steve Peichel is a hell of a coach, and that team seems to always play its greatest basketball against Purdue. So that's where I am next. And then next week, I'll be at UConn on Wednesday, then go back to New York a week from Saturday, a week from tomorrow for UConn St. John's. Now, you talk about a hell of a game.
Vicky P.
That will be a fun game.
Yeah, well, Timmy B, I'm going to be checking that out before the games. And please, if you find the way they can fit Zach Edey inside of the Jersey Mike's Arena, please let us know, because we don't know how that man even walks around. But we appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much, and can't wait to talk to you again.
Cheers. Take care.
Thanks, Tim.
Chateau.
Yeah,
legend,
Zach
the Hall of
just used to
Famer.
roam free on 7-footer Island. Now he's in arenas.
You got to put him in horizontally.
Don't worry about mine.
All right, let's get to the calls.
Don't worry about my island.
Your island.
It's not your island.
It is my island.
Are you Steven and Braveheart?
1 versus 2. I'm telling y'all. Every time I get on
now, the most wanted man on my island.
2 things I love: Jersey Mike's and Racks. It's great.
Nice.
Golly. All right, let's see what Max has to say, because Max from Chattanooga is on the line. What's up, bud?
Max from Chattanooga.
Hey, boys, it's Hype Train.
Let's
Hype it up, Max. 2-2, dude.
Friday.
Get him going.
Somebody hit somebody.
I mean, I might if the Lions don't win on Sunday.
How are you feeling about it? You nervy or what?
So I wasn't always a Lions fan, but watching Calvin Johnson play was something else. And
yeah, he's good.
Yeah. And the Lions have Cam Sutton, Hendon Hooker, and Jalen Reeves-Maven, and one other guy from the Vols. So I feel like it's a no-brainer.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just wondering, what do y'all think is a key to victory for the Lions in this NFC Championship?
2 turnovers. 2 turnovers and pass rush. They've got to get to Brock Purdy. If they don't, I just don't trust the secondary, Max. I just don't. I know they did their thing against the Buccaneers. And look, the Buccaneers, Mike Evans had a really good year, a year that he needed with the money situation. You know, Godwin, the painter, he's all right. You're going up against a different animal in the 49ers, and the weather's going to be better. I think you need at least 2 turnovers and a pass rush. That's what I'm saying.
3rd down conversion and score touchdowns, not field goals in the red zone.
Just establishing the line of scrimmage. You have to be able to run the ball against the 49ers. They gave up 100 yards against the Packers. They've been somewhat weak. If you want to point out a weakness, up front a little bit. If you run straight at them, I think the Lions are really good at that. And then you turn around the other side, you have to have timely turnovers, and you got to force the 49ers into field goals, not 7 points.
Yeah, and which that was one of the things that we talked about, that kind of bend but don't break defense.
That's how you hang around.
They kind of know themselves, and so they're going to give up plays, I think, between the 20s. Can they let George Kittle hit a big play down to the 15 and not in the end zone, and then force the 49ers to kick field goals? That's a big question for me.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. I think, and if anybody can run the ball, it's Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. So.
Love that 1-2 punch. I tell you, I'll tell you when I'm wrong. I'll tell you when I'm right. That Jahmyr Gibbs pick at 12, I was wrong about that. That he was a perfect complementary piece to what they're doing with his ability to line up in the backfield, put him in the slot. If Jameson Williams, I'm just waiting for that one game where J-Mo freaks out.
It's interesting to hear you say you were wrong. Well, yeah, on the J-Mo thing and Reynolds and all that kind of stuff. But it's interesting to hear you say that you were wrong on that, because I don't know. I still think that, yes, it was never a question. At least this was for me. I wonder how you feel. It was never a question about him not being a good player.
No, that's
right. It was teams taking running backs that high, right? But he has been a great compliment, and they've made it this far. So.
It's been worth it. I mean, right now it's been worth it. But Max, we'll see, buddy. Good luck to you this weekend.
Good luck, Max.
Right. Max, Blaine and I are going to take a bet.
I kind of need y'all to lose.
Sorry. Flaming Dragon and I are going to take a bet. That's only one.
We're not out of it yet.
That's only one.
Let's go, Max.
Hey,
right here.
Let's go, Max. We're not out of it yet. I needed that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now I'm going to gas him up.
I'm locked. Anyway.
Now I'm going to gas him up.
Anyway, on Fire Dragon Friday, Max, we're going to take this bet. I'm taking the Lions. So I don't know, the pregnancy simulator.
He doesn't even believe in the Lions. He doesn't even believe in them.
Well, they're not a real team. They're a fake team.
He doesn't even believe in them. He knows the 49ers are going to win. He's just trying to stir the pot, Max.
Pongo, Red 7. Hunter's on the line in Arkansas. We didn't get to him yesterday. Hunter, what's going on?
All right, boys. How are we today?
It's Friday, man. I'm living good,
dude.
Like I said, I called yesterday, so I want to talk about the Jim Harbaugh hire.
Okay.
I am very excited about it. I think he's going to do really well. I was kind of hoping for Mike Vrabel if he wasn't going to get it, but hey, Jim Harbaugh is my option number one. So
love it.
Perfect hire.
I'm just glad it wasn't Bill Belichick.
Just not Bill Belichick.
Yeah, that just wouldn't. I don't think Belichick and the Chargers, it just wouldn't have been a good fit. Not that there's a ton of evidence to support it, and we know what Bill Belichick's done. I don't know, just instinctually off the cuff, it just doesn't feel like a good marriage to me. It feels that'd be almost like an arranged marriage.
I just feel like anything that's related to football and Bill Belichick.
I understand.
I don't know how it could be a bad fit.
But this was the perfect hire, though.
No,
right?
like compared to Jim Harbaugh, I think Jim Harbaugh's a better fit than Bill Belichick.
No, yeah, okay. I'm fine with that. Okay, but I feel like Bill is second. I mean, you're not putting Mike Vrabel over Bill Belichick.
No, I'm not.
I mean, who else would Who would be the second choice? You'd go get either the OC from the Texans or you go get the OC
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson from the Lions. But I mean, anything that's relative to football and Bill Belichick would be a good fit.
So, Hunter, what are your expectations for the Chargers next year? They had $27 million over the cap. Obviously, they're going to have to move on from some of these older players, whether it be at wide receiver or even if they have to move off Bosa and Khalil Mack, and there's a lot of changes on defense with Derwin James. I mean, some of those guys are still going to be there, and they have Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler. What are your expectations?
My expectations are, I'm hopeful that we do better than this year. I feel like this year was a massive fluke. And I'm hoping that we're decent because we are going to have to move on to some pieces because, like you said, we are pretty far over the cap. And we spent a lot of money the last 2 years. And there's a couple players that aren't even on our roster anymore that we still owe money to. So I'm just hoping we're a little smarter about it and don't just hire somebody or sign somebody just because they were flashy for a season.
Well,
yeah.
Well, it feels like Khalil Mack's still putting up numbers.
Dude, yeah.
Right?
I watched him get like 5 sacks in a game.
Yeah.
Joey
Bosa's always hurt.
Yeah.
If you're going to build around anybody on this defense, you build around Derwin James.
Yeah, Derwin's got to
top
calm down a little bit.
5. So, look, he might get fined a couple games. Look, if I'm a defensive,
well, he doesn't.
If I'm the defensive
it's the penalties, screw the fines. He's no. That's stupid. That is an awful way to look at it. Derwin James gets penalties in the worst moments.
Yeah, that's true.
In the worst moment. That you can't play football like that. It's yes, you want to be physical. Yes, you want to be violent, but you can't say, "Oh, it's okay. You got a 15-yard penalty at a huge moment because you're playing hard." This is the NFL. Everybody's running around hitting everybody. You're old enough to where you're not a young guy, young buck running around there trying to prove your medal. Everybody knows Derwin James is coming downhill like he's doing the luge in the Olympics. You got to stop getting stupid penalties.
I'd rather, well, at least he's on the damn field at this point. If you're a Chargers fan on defense, you're paying Bosa all this money who doesn't even play.
Now do Von Miller.
Yeah,
you want to talk.
If you're going to build around anybody on this defense, it's going to be.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that.
No, I like that. One last funny thing here that I saw yesterday, because the Chargers do have Max Duggan and wide receiver Quentin Johnson at TCU. It said Harbaugh's first day they can't get into the door.
Yeah, he's holding vendettas.
How funny was that? Appreciate it, Hunter.
Hey, Hunter, thanks buddy. Man. Good luck this weekend.
All right, Josh on the line in North Carolina. Josh, what's up?
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up?
Who let you in here, man?
That's hard to follow up right there. I'm flaming Scoutler Friday. Anyway,
there you go. It's Fire Dragon Friday. Get it right, dude.
Lift your shield.
I think the bet between you and Cone, I think the outcome has to be Cone gets an Ohio State tattoo, or Blaine gets an Alabama tattoo for whoever.
Let me tell you something that's not going to happen.
Hey, a henna tattoo? Is it a henna tattoo?
I'll do the 2-week thing. I'll do the henna tattoo thing.
We'll do a henna tattoo. It doesn't have to be permanent.
On your face.
I'll do RTR in the bottom
face tat.
The inside of my lip.
Henna face tat.
I like where your head's at, but it ain't happening. I'll do the henna one, the 2-week.
Yeah, no, you got to do it like a tramp stamp right there. That's where it's got to be.
The thing that keeps coming up is the loser of the Lions 49ers game has to do the pregnancy simulator.
Dude,
that Knowles did.
Oh gosh.
Are you down for that? No. One chip challenge? We can do one chip challenge.
Yeah, y'all do the one chip challenge.
Simulator than
one of y'all should do the one chip challenge.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
It's great. It's
definitely
not hot.
One of those.
This isn't Deadpool where you just try to push someone to the extreme to turning into a superhero, which Jake was trying to do with the one chip challenge. All right, I'd rather do the pregnancy simulator 7 days out of the week.
I would rather have to fight Freddy Krueger than do that one chip challenge again. That's how bad it was.
You just shake on the pregnancy simulator?
Is that what we're doing?
I'm taking the Lions.
Don't say his name. All right, there it is. There it is.
Good job.
It is said, that it is written.
Nice.
All right,
Josh.
No tattoos, but I like where you're
you think Cone's getting tatted?
Tattoo sleeve. Appreciate it, man.
About the Super Bowl.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to talk about the Super Bowl, man. I placed this bet, and I called in about it. I placed this at a casino August 1st. It was at 10:06:59 p.m. And I took the Chiefs, and I took the Niners, and it is still alive. And after I placed this bet, I forgot to tell you all this, the woman 20 feet to my left hit $6,000 jackpot on the slots machine.
Nice.
So I wish I would have told
So you followed her.
on it. But I'm just saying, trust the signs, fellas. This is hitting.
I love. Hey, what are the odds? What are the odds on it?
It was when I bet it plus 1957. When I bet.
Wow. Solid work there,
Josh. God, how much Taylor Swift are you going to be listening to?
Yeah, God, you're just listening to just.
I don't know about you.
And then he said yes.
White Horse.
It's a love story.
Please.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, man.
See you later, Josh.
All right, last one today. Kirk in Canada.
Turkey.
What's up?
Hey, boys. What's going on?
You hanging out with Tucker up there or what?
Oh, loving it. Oh, I wish it's too bad I'm like 3,000 kilometers from Alberta. I would have been.
How far is that? Like 1,000 feet?
Wait, hold on. What's a kilometer?
Yeah.
Well, that's about 1,700 miles, give or take.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a long way.
Big country. So I had this idea a couple months ago, but I thought I'd wait until after college football season finished because obviously you guys are that's your number one on this show, which is awesome. But I thought I'd maybe call in every Friday, do like a little hockey update.
Love it.
Yes.
Fans out there.
Do it.
Yeah, let's update it, Kurt.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, that team that plays their home games in Philadelphia are on a 3-game losing streak, so that's always a good thing to report.
We're not worried.
How far behind are they with the Leafs?
We're dead even. 56 points. 56 points.
You got them 12 and a half. Hey, come on. Hey, fix the ship.
Hey,
fix the ship.
We're not worried. Keep it close.
So you guys probably already know this, but a surprising statistic is the number one team right now in the NHL. Do you know who's got more points than anybody as far as which hockey team is in first place?
Was there an expansion
it's a tie for first place, right?
Canucks.
Well, I checked it this morning. It's the Vancouver Canucks, man. This is an unreal turnaround. They were brutal last year.
Yeah, they haven't done anything in a while, right?
Hockey teams do that. They turn around so quickly. It's awesome.
It's true. Yeah, so the first place is Vancouver, second is Boston, and third is the Winnipeg Jets.
Wow.
We're in a little bit of shock up here in Canada and loving every minute of it.
Y'all getting some parody.
Hey, why was Justin Trudeau clapping like that?
He had that North Korean clap.
That Twitter video?
Oh, don't even get me going on Justin Trudeau, boys.
Dude, what an insane person.
I actually had my Facebook account locked for a year and a half because I put a meme up, or there's a picture of Hitler, and it says, "Stop comparing me to Justin Trudeau." And at the bottom it says,
You actually put an exclamation board on the LGBTQ?
It says I had a budget, and I wasn't allowed to use Facebook Live or Facebook Marketplace for over a year and a half because of that one post.
Skyhook's always an option.
Yeah, I always listen to the show the day later, and I download it and listen to it the next day. And I'm like, here I am at work, and I'm like, oh, they're talking about Kirk from Canada. So thanks for the love, boys.
Well, I have a question for you, Kirk. How good are the Oilers? I mean, they're 15-game win streak right now, but they're third in the Pacific. Like, how good are they really?
They got off to a brutal start, probably the worst in franchise history. But everybody who, loves the Oilers, I actually am a big Oilers fan because I grew up about 20 minutes down the road from where Wayne Gretzky grew up in Ontario.
Oh, wow.
So I'm a huge Gretzky fan. I'm pretty sure I cried the day they traded him to the to the Kings back in like 1989.
Understandable.
But, Anyway, to answer your question, David, they are the front runners and the odds for winning the Stanley Cup, even though they're third in their division. Yeah,
15 games in a row. That's no small feat.
Yeah, well, at least somebody with the name Oilers, past or present, is doing something good.
Just get that pride tape off your.
When Gretzky was on the team, they couldn't even win 15 in a row when Gretzky was on the team. So that's pretty incredible. But anyway.
Well, Kirk, we always appreciate
you're
it, buddy.
Incredible, Kirk.
Thanks for the info, buddy.
Kirky! If I ever get lost in Canada, I know who I'm calling. Got peeps everywhere. All right, head over to the board of bets. 1-1 yesterday. Stephen F. Austin and Grand Canyon. You know what? Maybe it is overrated.
Steve?
It is.
Maybe
it is overrated. It's a hole in the ground. How stupid.
All right. We didn't mean to do this. This is just how it worked out. Me and Flaming Dragon have the same bet.
The exact same?
The exact same. We're both taking Wisconsin and St. Bonaventure money line at -142. David, what do you got, bud?
Man, Jannik Sinner just stunned Novak Djokovic last night.
Dude,
beat him in 4 sets.
God, Lee, I just heard about that.
I watched.
First time Joker has lost at the Australian Open since 2018. It's 2024. Like, that's insane. So, look, hats off to Sinner. He's going to face Medvedev, I guess, in the final.
God, nobody's happier than that about Medvedev.
Yeah, I'm going to go hockey tonight, actually. Good thing Kurt called in. I'm going to take the Avs money line -140 and then the Rangers at home money line -155.
Take off your shoes and Ace. He's going to take the Panthers money line and the Blues money line. The
hockey bets in the
-125. Huh? Yeah, we're getting closer to Nerfy or Yerfy season.
Nerfy season.
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it. So we'll see how it goes. All right, let's get to the chat.
All right, let's get some donos here. We're going to start off with Trey Bodenhammer.
Sorry.
With the $5 donation, he says, the bet has to be taking the arch nemesis to dinner. Blaine takes Stacy, and Cone takes Humping Badger. This has to be
Humping Badger.
Y'all trying to get me fired. Like, y'all ain't here trying
He's not leaving the basement.
No, he's already out. Yeah. Apparently, he's already out running around. I was going to Chase Mills, been doing my whole life with a $10 donation. Appreciate it, brother. He says, did you guys see Romo go on a tangent comparing Kincaid knocking the ball out of bounds on the Diggs fumble to the immaculate reception when he was thinking of the holy roller during the game?
Yeah, the man made one mistake.
He made a mistake.
I saw Mad Dog, Mad Dog questioning Tony Romo's football intelligence is like me trying to tell Steve Jobs what to do with an iPhone.
Yeah. We all make mistakes. I said Riley Reid on the show.
Yeah.
That's hard to come back from.
Look, people make mistakes. Tony Romo has gotten enough right when he's literally telling you, what's about to happen, the whole game.
It's not like he went on. It's not like he was trying to give a history lesson about it.
No.
It was an off-the-wall comment.
He confused the holy roller with the immaculate reception.
I was going to Brian Hall with a $20 donation. Brian, appreciate it, man. 2011 Super Bowl. I knew this young man who illegally bet their income tax return on Packers spread and Rodgers Super Bowl MVP with an overseas sports book. Crosby saved that spread. I got his jersey now. Oops, the guy has his jersey now.
I love it.
I was going to Colson Duggins with a $5 donation for Colson. Appreciate it, man. Falcons and Titans are using the same strategy. Let the ownership bureaucracy make all the decisions. This is not going to end well.
Well, I'm going to give the man a chance. I'm going to give the man a chance. But again, I just don't know how you look at this hire if you're not just Falcons fans, but anybody, and you're like, nailed it.
All right, let's go to Ryan Gade with a $5 donation. Appreciate it. Since it's the year of the dragon, are we going to get a Miss Flaming Dragon this year, buddy? We will see. Time will tell. Okay, relax.
No, you got
to be. You see,
hey, don't let him get you.
No, you're right. You're right. Oh my God, I almost did it.
Don't let him get you.
I almost did it.
I knew what he was trying to do.
God. All right, let's go to Old World Skull with a $5 donation. Appreciate it. Did y'all see the ESPN anchors absolutely violate that king cake on national TV?
Oh, yeah.
Banned from the boot for life. We had a meeting about it.
Yeah, it was Elle Duncan, I think. They brought out this big king cake, and she just instantly went in there and just destroyed it to find where the baby is.
I'm looking it up.
Little baby.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, you can't come back now.
I never saw this either.
Yeah, well, they had game day at the women's basketball game last night, South Carolina to LSU, and yeah, I know what you were trying to do, but it had the exact opposite effect.
You destroyed it.
It
can't
was
do that.
Unbelievable. You're not allowed. You can't go back to New Orleans. That's for sure. I'm surprised if they'd even let you the Lake Charles or somewhere like that. You can't do that. Can't do that.
All right, let's go to Ducky with a $10 donation. It says Dan the man is ready to take the Big Ten.
I wonder.
See what I did there?
Oh, Dan Lanning.
Who'd you think?
Dan Campbell.
He's on the Big Ten.
I understand that, but I didn't hear what you said at the end. I think Oregon's out of all four teams that are going from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten, Oregon's style of play travels the best. That's what I think.
I agree.
Let's go to Nick Bates with a $5 donation. With all this talk of MLB Hall of Fame, who could retire today and be a lock to make it? Andrew Jones got screwed.
I think he did get screwed. I really don't know how Joe Mauer gets in over Gary Sheffield, too, when you look at the numbers. Yeah. I'm a firm believer in, and I know that Heisman winners do get a vote, but I think Heisman winners should be the exclusive voters for who wins the Heisman. I think Hall of Famers should be the exclusive voters for who gets in the Hall of Fame. I just believe that. When it comes to somebody that could retire right now, I mean, there's multiple guys. I mean, you just look around the league. I mean, I would say there's probably at least 3 to 5, right? That you would say. I mean, there's a lot of young talent. The real question is, I think a even better question is, will Shohei Ohtani retire as the greatest baseball player ever?
Probably so. What about Mike Trout? Is Mike Trout a Hall of Famer?
I think so.
Without going to a World Series?
I think so. Because it's look, I know championships matter. They should matter. But, I mean, look, he
was just so good.
So good in every single
Andrew Jones
aspect.
shouldn't be in.
Why not?
What'd you say?
He shouldn't be in. I don't think his numbers are good enough.
Yeah, you're a Yankees fan.
I don't think
Aaron Judge?
Aaron Judge probably a Hall of Famer, don't you think?
Yeah. Yep, I think so. Let's go to Jack Goss, $5 donation. Jack, appreciate it, brother. When Dan Campbell first got hired, he wanted a real lion mascot. PETA told him no. PETA can get off my lawn. Lions are going to the Super Bowl.
PETA told him no.
Can you
didn't have to ask PETA's permission.
Well, we've seen LSU, have that Bengal tiger.
Yeah.
In that cake. Can you imagine a lion, king of the jungle?
Yeah.
Like, you go in the game?
Take it to San Francisco.
Lions aren't king
Take it to
of
San
the jungle.
Francisco with you.
Can we stop saying that?
Like, all of a sudden, you go to the lion. You're like, hey, Dan, can we look up his lion?
Lion doesn't even live in the jungle.
We're the adversary.
Shere Khan up there? Or wait, that Shere Khan was the tiger.
The tiger is the king of the jungle.
Scar.
A tiger lives in the jungle. A tiger is bigger than a lion.
Lions live in the jungle.
No, they don't.
Look, were they on the plains?
Look it up.
I am.
Lions don't live in like I mean, it just depends on how do you define jungle. New York City's concrete jungle.
When I Google who is the king of the jungle, the first thing that pops up is the lion.
Keep reading. No, keep reading.
The circle of
And a special position in the jungle hierarchy.
Bigger? What's bigger? Lions don't live in the jungle. How can you be king of something you don't live in?
Because they got it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, let me tell you about Napoleon.
All right, let's go to Cantoris with the last donation of the day, $5 donation. Random thought of the morning, UCLA and USC will dominate Big Ten baseball.
Ooh.
It's the equivalent of putting an SEC team in the Mountain West for football.
I like that. That's diving deep. Who's a Cantoris? I like that.
That was Cantoris. Yeah, we have two more, actually. Oh, Danny Girl, $5 donation. Do you think the NCAA will try to come for LSU since Kayshon placed bets while at the football ops?
Probably. They came for Colorado yesterday.
Here's the problem. When you look at like Iowa State and Iowa, their players were still there. So like what I would worry about is, does this lead to them going in and finding more guys that did it that may still be there that could be suspended for this year? But as far as guys that did it individually, I mean, can you say lack of institutional control? But again, the NCAA, I just tell them no. You got no power. I'd Penny Hardaway them.
Let's go to the last donation. Coffee Guy Sports, $2 donation. Dan Quinn, good head coach or not?
Nah.
Dan Quinn?
Don Quinn?
He took the Falcons to the Super Bowl in what, year two?
Yeah,
year two?
Just mid.
He's a good head coach. It just went downhill.
Well, I mean, it's better than Raheem Morris. But again, like I said, I'll give the guy a shot. All right, poll.
Who advances to the Super Bowl? Ravens, Lions. Ravens, 49ers. Chiefs, 49ers. Chiefs, Lions.
They don't want the Chiefs. They don't want
Ravens, Niners, 41%.
Now, how about this? Lions, Chiefs. Lions, Chiefs, 40%.
No shot.
Lions, Chiefs, 14%.
Yeah.
They don't want the Chiefs.
Chiefs, 49ers, 14%. Ravens, 49ers, 36%. Ravens, Lions, 37%.
Wow, Ravens, Lions won it.
Good
yes,
week, boys.
Hey, great job again, Coach.
Hey, hit that under.
Hit the graphic. I don't think they hit it.
Under.
I don't think they hit it. I think they said my name.
No, you always say that.
Yeah.
Under.
I think I tried a tiger, Blaine.
Yeah. Did you look up who's bigger?
A tiger, but
who lives in the jungle?
So is a hippo's bigger than a tiger?
Do hippos live in the jungle?
They swim in it.
I will say I didn't know that orca killer whales were bigger than great whites until someone told us on this show.
Do they
orcas?
I don't
know.
I know.
The only time orcas ever killed people is like in
SeaWorld?
In a zoo.
They kill
like when they're in captivity.
Like,
orca is the most skilled killer in the world.
Well, listen, ever since we freed Willie, we should have a good rapport with him.
I know. That kid did free Willie.
He did, and he was a human.
Quit locking him up, man.
Yeah, see,
I hate that stuff.
Yeah, I
hate
don't like
zoos. And so if we're trying to bring something back, if there's an endangered animal, I get it, that's fine. But I don't want to be an orca locked up in a little pool.
Yeah, that just sucks.
I'm gonna get pissed off one day.
It's like putting like a super fat person in like a small little cubicle and just sticking them in there, having people walk and point at them, make them do tricks with candy and stuff. Anyways, we appreciate you guys joining us on a Flaming Fire Dragon Friday.
Yeah.
Make sure you grab one of those hoodies. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're going to be back Monday. Enjoy the NFL watching this weekend. And you ready for it? Like the chances of us having to watch Taylor Swift at an NFL game after this weekend, we're going.
Not even close.
Oh, my God.
Close.